This is how to eliminate 500 items in just 30 days, which is ambitious. But to prove it can be done, I'm attempting to use these methods to complete the challenge in just 1 week. In today's video, I'll take you through 5 methods that will not only streamline your home, but also build the decluttering habits you need to stay clutter-free for life. Now, I'm a married mother of 2. I live in a 1,400 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and I have 4 years of decluttering experience, which is a definite advantage. But I'm also a minimalist, which means 2 things. 1, I put off decluttering around my house for months in order to demonstrate this challenge to you. 2, even with that, there's not much stuff here. So getting to 500 will require me to go deep. So to kick us off, let me tell you about method number 1. I have 5 days. I am going to start off with trash bag therapy. And for those who get freaked out whenever you say trash, yes, I will separate out the recycling. Calm down. Okay, so there are some basic rules with this. First, I'm not laboring over decisions. This is stuff that's obvious trash. The second, in order to kind of stay at that high level, just obvious trash, I'm just gonna do 2 to 3 minutes per room, maybe a little longer in the basement, definitely a little longer in the garage. You will see why. I am gonna try to look in drawers and cabinets. I'm not just looking at what's on my surfaces. But I love this approach because it allows you to really make headway without having to make deep decisions, and it's just a great way to kick off a challenge like this. I remember a few years ago, I was pregnant with my son, and I had a pretty rough start to that pregnancy. So from about 5 weeks of pregnancy till 25 weeks, I was incredibly sick and just barely getting out of bed. And so obviously during that time, I didn't keep up with decluttering. And when I did finally get back on my feet, that's the first thing I did. Is I grabbed a trash bag and I started going through the house. And it was one of those black trash bags, a big one, probably a 30-gallon one. And I could not believe how quickly I filled that thing up. Our house is not that big. It was already decluttered, but the amount of trash that I was able to pull together and fill up a 30-gallon trash bag. I was like, why are we keeping all of this? It's kind of amazing how much stuff really needs to be cycled out of the house if we're not paying attention to it. Okay, I think I have my full trash haul from the house. I also have to go through all of the recycling from 2 months of recycling that has built up in our garage. We don't have recycling pickup at our house, so we have to take it to an actual recycling drop off. We've all been sick a lot this fall, so stuff like that kind of goes by the wayside. So I need to catch up on that and get this stuff out of here. But it's a good day 1. I'm gonna have to count and figure out exactly how much stuff I actually gathered. I don't normally count the trash that I'm getting rid of, but I will count. Look at all these hair ties I found. Yeah, I will count the trash and figure out what my number is. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere around here. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the 12 by 12 by 12 declutter challenge. Okay, it is Tuesday. I have Peyton here with me. She is playing with puzzles at my feet. So the 12 by 12 by 12 basically just gives you a little bit of structure when you're decluttering. You're gonna look for 12 things that are trash, 12 things that need to be relocated, and 12 things to donate. It's kind of nice because you get to count the 12 things that are being relocated as part of the 500 that you're trying to collect. I was thinking that I would start in the closet, but I think I need an easy win. Can you all hear Peyton popping bubble wrap in the background? Maybe.
Pop, pop.
Pop, pop. There's nothing more satisfying than a bubble wrap pop. So as you all know, I've been a minimalist for a long time, and putting off decluttering for as long as I have, I decluttered a few areas. You guys know I decluttered the toys. Putting it off for as long as I have noticed that it's just harder to do all of the normal stuff. It's harder to get a load of laundry done and actually get it put away. It's harder to get the dishes cleaned up. It's harder to order groceries and cook every day. And it's not even the volume in those different categories has necessarily gone up. I think what it is that there's just so much more random stuff and homeless stuff in particular sitting around the house. And so every time I see it, it's rent-free in my mind. This is disgusting. This is an old pillowcase. That's really gross. I did a load of recycling yesterday after trash therapy day, and then I did another load today. It's a shocking amount of recycling that we collected over the last few months. Oh, cute. These I was gonna save for Whitney's baby. Oh, this is really random, and it is trash. So these come off of our, what do you call them? Our chairs, and they're just the covers, and they're not necessary, and they're constantly getting pulled onto the floor. So I'm gonna get rid of them, but I mean, I think they're just trash. I can't donate them. I think we've definitely found 12 trash items. The next thing I'm going to work on is stuff to relocate. After we did the big toy declutter, there were a few things that I had hidden during the experiment and then decided to keep, such as our puzzles, and they just went back into this closet kind of by default, but I don't like that. I don't like the kids having to come in here to get access to different toys. So we're going to start experimenting with some other places for them. We've got space in our cabinetry in our living room, so I'm going to try it there. And if that doesn't work, then we might try their bedroom. Just play around with it a little bit.
I need to use that.
You want the breast pump?
Oh, I can get milk.
You
Can you keep it for my baby?
Yeah, you can keep it for your baby.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that was so sticky. So I've done more than 12 for trash. I've done about 15 at least for relocating stuff. And now I need to find my donations and then we'll be done in here for the day. I think I'm gonna have to take stuff out and it's gonna be really annoying. So I don't want to. I'm trying to just find something. Just looking. This is not a donation, but I think I wanted to show it to you guys. We ordered some books for homeschooling and they came in this really cool little case. One certainly could keep the case, but I don't find it very practical since I need to pull the books out regularly. So I'm gonna let it go even though it's really cute and pretty, but this I swear is the type of thing that can hang us up and that we can end up just having sit around and hang around our house. So I wanted to show it as an example. All right, so I have 3 books. So that puts us at 5. We need to find 12. I found it. It's my stash. So these are some books that I was thinking that we might get rid of. 9, 10, 11, made it to 12. I kind of like the structure and the fact that it sort of pushed me. Tomorrow, we are going to do the no mess decluttering method. All right, we'll see you then. Bye. Okay, I counted up everything that I have found so far and we are at 217. Today we are doing the no mess decluttering method and this comes from Dana K. White. I think this is one of the best methods out there. We use this method to avoid making a bigger mess. We are dealing with each item fully and then moving on to the next one. So potentially the process takes longer, right? But in the meantime, you're not turning your house into a disaster zone. The tools that you need: a black trash bag. Dana recommends a black trash bag because it ensures that no one else can see what you've decided to throw away, and a box. The reason you have those with you is so that if you do have to stop mid declutter, you can just pick them up, put them into their respective places, and you can just move on with your day. And then the third thing that you need is your feet. And the reason that you need your feet is because every time you find an item that needs to be relocated, you're going to take it there right away. That's a big part of this method in making sure that you deal with every item and that you don't make a bigger mess. Because often, what are the piles that really become a problem? It's the keep piles. I thought we'd start by just clearing off this piece of furniture that has been accumulating things. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about this method because this space is so overwhelming to me. I feel like just dealing with one item at a time is kind of where my head's at. Like I just need to do one at a time and not worry about what's coming next. It's just what needs to happen with this pencil sharpener. And the first thing I can say is it needs to be emptied and then it needs to go back into my homeschooling bin. This is my husband's and this goes in the living room where he keeps his laptop. So I actually ran into something that tends to happen in this decluttering process. One of the things she says is when you take something to the location where it actually belongs and you find, oh, it doesn't fit in here, what do I do? You don't just set it off to the side or like put it on top. You have to then look around in that drawer, in that space, and be like, okay, is there anything in here that is trash or can be donated or needs to be relocated so that we can make space for the thing that actually belongs here? These are all Christmas decor things. So they actually need to go in the holiday bin downstairs. It's recommended that like when you do take it there now, you kind of look around the space and see, is there anything else that needs to make that trip with you? I used these to style a picture for a YouTube video recently, but they do need to go back into the holiday bin. So can add those there. I'm gonna go ahead and make this trip and then we'll be back. But we are making progress and I actually am starting to feel better about it. What I love about this method, and part of the reason I wanted to show it to you all, is because of the fact that you can declutter without turning your house into a complete disaster and you can make progress. I'm realizing what I didn't do today is keep track of the number of things. Shoot. I'll count what I have like in trash and recycling and donations. That's a place to start at least, but oh man. Oh, that's okay. All right, well, tomorrow I will be taking you through the fourth method that will help you to get to that 500 items in a month. All right, it's Thursday. We are on day 4 of my decluttering extravaganza. So the method that I want to talk about today is atomic decluttering. It's based on James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. And in the book, he explains how habit formation works. So there are 4 stages to the process: cue, craving, response, and reward. And the cue is something that triggers your brain to initiate a behavior, such as like you see a cluttered countertop and seeing that clutter there tells you, I have to tidy this up. Then the craving is the motivational force behind every habit. So your craving might be to then sort through those items because you have the secondary motivational force to have a peaceful home. And you know that that step of sorting through the items is how you get there. Then the response is the actual habit that you perform, and it can take the form of a thought or an action. So in the past, when you saw a cluttered spot, you might have had the tendency to say, oh, I'll get to that this weekend, or I need to really set aside some time to deal with that. But now instead, you've already made some progress, so you are instead going to be focusing on your maintenance habits when it comes to decluttering. And so you're going to dedicate 3 minutes just to tidying up that space real quick, and then you can move on. Now the reward is the 4th stage, and this is the end goal of every habit. Clear says the cue is about noticing the reward, the craving is about wanting the reward, and the response is about obtaining the reward. We chase rewards because we have 2 purposes. They satisfy us and they teach us. So what I've been doing this week is maintaining my evening tidies, and also just anytime I get a chance to do a little tidy throughout the house, I take it. The other 3 methods that we talked about earlier in the video are really all about getting you through that initial purge, getting your house to a place where it is much more manageable. You'll have to create more than just decluttering habits in order to run your home well. Maybe it's a daily laundry, maybe it's doing the dishes at the end of every night, but I think a daily declutter of flat surfaces is a really great place to start. Okay, at this point I have found 304 items that are going to be decluttered from our house, permanently leaving. My goal is to get to 500, so I'm not sure if I am going to accomplish that goal, but I am going to try my darndest tomorrow. So I will see you all then. Please, be rooting me on. Can we get to 500 items by the end of this challenge? Okay, it's Friday. So this has been a big week. I need to find 196 items today. I still don't entirely feel confident that it's possible, but I want to sound confident. So we're going to do it. Was that even remotely convincing? So the final method that I'm walking you all through is what I call mini purges. And this is where you dedicate 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, you focus on one small category. Let's get started. So something I was thinking about this week is that when I actually did my initial whole decluttering experience, those first couple of months of like really purging my house, I was using the Pomodoro method when it came to work, but I would set a timer, and for anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes, I would just entirely focus on my work. And then when that timer went off, I would get up, set a 5-minute timer, and allow myself to go and declutter during that time, which obviously was easy to do because I was working from home. But I would just have those 5 minutes. And so I would go down to the storage area or run over to the kitchen or up to my closet, whatever space I happened to be working on, and just item by item go through and consider everything that I had. And it did a couple of things. One, because I only had 5 minutes, it didn't allow me enough time to really get hung up on making a decision. If something was a difficult decision, I would just set it aside and move on to the next thing so that I could continue to make progress. But the other thing that happened is that when that 5 minutes was up, I would go back upstairs, set a 25-minute timer, get back to work. While I was working, and just focused on something completely different, in the background in my mind, I would be processing those items that are a little more difficult. And often what would happen is that I would come to a conclusion like, yes, I definitely do need to keep that thing. I use it for X, Y, or Z reason, or no, I don't need to keep it. And so taking that time away would allow me to make those decisions kind of just without realizing I was making them. And then when my 25 minutes would be up and I would get my next opportunity to go and declutter, I would run down there and those difficult items, like a decision would have already been made. Okay, we are done. Here around me, I have 72 items, which is about 120, a little bit more shy of my goal. So I did not make it to 500 items, which is such a shame. I think I'm going to have my husband go through some of his things and see if we can round up a few more items to declutter. And if we find any more, I will put our final number right here. What I know about getting a home decluttered and keeping a home decluttered is that it's a balance of behaviors and mindsets. Most of us need to establish those new behaviors in order to get our home decluttered in the first place and in order to keep it decluttered. But we also need to take on those new mindsets to carry us through this entire process. So if that sounds like you, then check out this video here, and until next time.